I think that, it's interesting. Relationships are one of the areas where people are the most opinionated and triggered and passionate and become very reactive if you have a different opinion than them. Or,
Right.
If you're going through something, they'll give you their advice and you need to do this or you need to do that, or this is right or this is wrong. And they sort of take it personally if you don't do what they tell you to do. And I think the reason for that is because, listen, humans want certainty, right? Like we really are not comfortable with uncertainty and feeling out of control and feeling uncomfortable. But the reality is, life is slippery and unpredictable. And, when you look at it through that more spiritual perspective, all we can do is kind of just try to learn how to be with the discomfort of our emotions, because we will again and again experience things like grief and anxiety and frustration and disappointment and anger and hurt and all that kind of stuff. And the reason I share all this is because, I think others kind of perpetuate the stigma around divorce by making it seem like the person you choose to spend your life with when you're in your 20s a lot of the time is going to be somebody that you also are going to relate to when you're in your 70s. I mean, what a gamble, right? Like that would assume that neither of you would grow it. I mean, sure, it would be great, but also maybe it would be really boring because it would mean we wouldn't change at all. Like we are basically taking a gamble and assuming that like the person you choose when you're quite young, you are going to keep driving along together side by side and you're not going to diverge on your paths at all. And again, that does happen. Of course, you hear these stories, and I'm sure you have friends whose parents are together, and maybe you still are if they're around. And these are beautiful, beautiful stories that you're like, wow, how did you do it? But also, like, that was more of a time when we didn't have dating apps or social media or OnlyFans or porn or, technology in our pockets where we could get a sense of connection from someone else at any moment or get on a plane for $150 for the weekend. Like, we now have access to so many more options. And I do think that, the traditional monogamous long-term relationship, I'm not saying it's going to become extinct, but I think that, there's always been infidelity. And I think that we just have to be realistic that being together with the same person for life isn't for everyone. And that's okay.